Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode. In today's video, we're going to talk about my top 3 favorite stocks as far as being the most recession proof. And in this video, I just wanted to share my opinion of these companies. They are not the Google, the Amazon, the Tesla, the Shopify. They are not those companies. And the reason why is because I feel like that information is out there. It's very generic. It's very easy to say these companies are conglomerates. They're not going anywhere. So I want to talk about some of the ones that aren't going anywhere and that are also mislooked. And I want to talk about what they do, what I think about them personally, and the key takeaways about these companies when it comes to recessionary times, and if and how they might be impacted or how they might be able to kind of go through the eves and flows of something like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you like content like this and you want to see more, hit the like button. It really helps out the channel. And if this is your first time to the channel, go hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that way you can be notified as soon as I post. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Let's dive right into this one. So first one on the list, we have Verizon, or ticker symbol BZ. And it's currently trading about $56, $57, $58 a share. Now it might be different than when I posted this video, of course, and even more different than at the time of recording this video. It has traded between $49 and $62. Now, if you think about it, we did have a huge market crash back in March and early April, you would say, depending on what stock you're looking at. And this company held out. I mean, I'm talking about real holding, still paying its dividend, which is at an incredible 4.28%. I mean, think about that, okay? So it pays 4% per year and it barely got shook up by the market. So people are still buying it. It's relatively cheap with a PE ratio currently of about 12 and a market cap of $230 billion. Now, Verizon's been around for a long time. It even had a crazy run up back in the 2000s during the dot-com bubble. And to this day, it's only peaking about at the same point where it was back in 2000. So if you think about this, not only is this a great dividend play, great value, and has room to grow, but also at the same time, it's very recession proof. And again, I'm gonna get into a little bit more of that a little bit later on what makes a recession proof. I just wanna go through the list that I have here. So next we have Cisco. Now Cisco is trading at around $47 a share, and it's been between $33 and $53 a share in the last 52 weeks, so a year. And if you think about that, again, it did drop a little bit more than Verizon if you look at percentage-wise, but it held up, and it only had a very quick flash crash, and then it was immediately back up a few bucks. The beautiful thing about Cisco is it also has a pretty good dividend. The dividend currently sits at 3%, which is amazing for a technology telecommunications play. Its PE ratio is a little bit higher. It's about 18, and its market cap is hovering around 200 billion. And if you think about it, it's also one of those guys that's been around a very long time, but it has room to grow back to where it was in the early 2000s. So again, great play, Cisco. Check it out. Next on the list, last but not least, we have Johnson & Johnson. I was hesitant to include this one because it's been around for so long, and it doesn't have the highest dividend of the three. It also doesn't have currently the best PE ratio of the three, but I wanted to include it because it has been around for so long and because they have consistently increased their dividend. So even though right now it might not be the best value play because of the PE ratio, it does have that track record of having increasing dividends year after year. Look at the Johnson & Johnson stock price. It is trading at $147 per share, and it has been in the last 52 weeks between $109 and $157. Now, if you got it at $109, that's great. That's a 33% move from its highs of $157. It's pretty good to be able to pick it up at $109. But the cool thing is, during this recessionary period, they actually increased their dividend. So one of those aristocrats that's able to do that even during hardships. It is in the medical space, so they did actually benefit from COVID in some sort of way. So that's something to look out for. Their PE ratio is hovering around 25, and their dividend is actually 2.65. So like I said, it's not as high as Cisco, it's not as high as Verizon, but there might be some value to there if their PE ratio gets cut down a little bit, or if they raise that dividend a little bit higher. Now, their market cap is sitting at around $387 through $89 billion. So that makes it the highest market cap of the three. It also is the only one that is separate in my list of the industry that it's in. So Verizon and Cisco is the telecommunications, software, hardware space. Johnson & Johnson happens to be in the medical space. So if you want to look into them a little bit more, go check them out. I have a bunch of stocks that I have in my list, and I went through all of them. Of course, I could have included the Apple, I could have included the Amazon, the Google, the Tesla, but I just didn't want to include the most generic companies. We know those guys are doing great. We know that they're leaders in their space. I just wanted to point out and highlight these guys. Of course, like I said, we could have talked about Disney, we could have talked about Shopify, Google, Facebook, all these companies. But again, I wanted to include some that aren't being as well talked about, but are consistently killing the market. So if you've gotten this far, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time to the channel. So in this part, I wanted to talk about why these three are the clear winners as far as recessionary proof, especially during a pandemic that we had so recently. So Johnson & Johnson, the reason why they're so good to purchase during a pandemic, especially if their price crashes like it did before, is because Johnson & Johnson is in the medical industry. So if medicine is needed, hospital beds are required, Johnson & Johnson is there to save the day. And of course, even if we have a crash from something like a virus, flu, a cold, anything, Johnson & Johnson is there to profit at some point or another. Obviously, they do a lot of cool stuff where they're not, but pretty much their main business model is to make a profit. Like any business, they have to make money. So Johnson & Johnson, during something like this, even if the price gets cut, their profits typically tend to trickle up. And that's why I think they increase their dividend during this time. So okay, we've covered Johnson & Johnson. Now let's talk about Cisco. Cisco handles a lot of software, hardware, and telecommunication type equipment. So they sell phone service, which all of us, especially in business, need phones. We need VoIP. We need these types of hardware and software integration with our businesses and customers. So in order to have that, we need some kind of Zoom type meeting, or Cisco has WebEx, so they're able to profit when everyone's at home. In addition, they always have sales of telecommunication products that they offer, whether it's pandemic or not. And the biggest thing that I've seen is they've been able to scale very, very well during this time. And again, if you're thinking about stocks that are going to benefit from these certain events, Cisco is one of those. And last but not least, and I'm just kind of working backwards here, Verizon. What makes them so special? Well, Verizon's biggest product is cell phone plans. And if you think about it, whether a recession or not, and actually probably more during a recession, is we need to call, text, and use mobile data. It's just a fact, right? Especially if we work out of our homes, we're gonna be using more mobile data than we ever have before. We're gonna be calling people more than we ever have before. And we're gonna be texting people more than we ever have before. And if that's the case, well, they're winning, because that is exactly what they need to make money. And you're not gonna go, even if COVID hits, you're not gonna go and cancel your mobile plan, because that is your escape to the outside world. That is your ability to talk to your loved ones, to communicate with if someone ends up in the hospital. That is your lifeline to be able to step out into the outside world, right? So Verizon's not going anywhere. Johnson & Johnson's not going anywhere. Cisco, they're not going anywhere. And during a recession, they actually make more money. And that's a hard reality for people who aren't invested in the stocks. So again, this is not investment advice. This is just pure analytical information. I just wanted you to see what I see about these three companies, how they're gonna benefit. And if you don't have them in your portfolio, maybe consider adding a position into one or two or three of these companies. Again, I didn't want to cover the Apple, I didn't want to cover the Amazon, the Google, the Facebook, right? I wanted to cover companies that are not very well talked about, but again, can very much benefit during these uncertain times. So again, hope you like this video. If you have any questions, comments, or anything you'd like to see in a future video, leave them down in the comments below. And if this is your first time to the channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button. And if you learned anything in this video, don't forget to hit the like button, because that actually helps my channel out a lot. So hopefully you find this useful. And if you did, again, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Feel free to check out any of these videos as well, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.